There are invisible forces that try to pull us down. Curses whispered in the dark, the heaviness of poverty that clings to generations, the unseen chains of envy and witchcraft. But remember this, every chain has a weak link, every shadow disappears when true light is present. Tonight, I will show you how a single, sacred incense burned at midnight can shift your destiny in just 3 minutes, if you are ready to receive it. The midnight hour has always carried with it a mystery that human beings have felt deep within their bones. It is the moment when one day has ended and another has not yet begun, the crossing point between what was and what is to come. In that space, the world grows quiet. The streets fall still, the noise of the day disappears, and even the air feels different. It is not only silence that fills the night, but a kind of spiritual openness, a doorway where the unseen becomes closer to the seen. For centuries, seekers of truth, warriors of light, and even those who walk in darkness have all understood this moment as sacred, because the veil between worlds becomes thinner. When you awaken at midnight, there is a reason your heart beats differently, why you feel the weight of something invisible pressing on you. It is not only because your body is breaking its natural rest, but because your spirit is being invited to awareness. Midnight is the hour when energies that were hidden throughout the day rise to the surface. Both blessings and curses become active in the quiet of the night, and this is why it becomes a battlefield. In the same way that darkness covers the earth, darkness also tries to cover the soul. But where there is darkness, there is also an opportunity to create light. It is in this hour that incense becomes more than fragrance. Burned at noon, it may soothe the senses. Burned in the evening, it may calm the nerves. But burned at midnight, it speaks to the spirit. The smoke rises like a message carried into the unseen realms, a declaration that your space, your body, and your destiny belong not to fear, not to curses, not to poverty, but to freedom. Midnight is not only about stillness, it is about authority. It is the time when the strongest chains attempt to tighten, and therefore the time when breaking them has the greatest impact. If you have ever felt an unexplained heaviness on your chest at night, if you have ever been woken by a restless mind or disturbing dreams, you know what it means to be touched by the energy of this hour. But you must also know that you are not powerless in the face of it. When you choose to rise, when you choose to act instead of lying helpless under the weight of unseen forces, something begins to shift. Midnight becomes not a time of fear, but a time of victory. The truth is, 3 minutes at midnight can carry more power than 3 hours at any other time of the day, because intention and timing are aligned. When you burn incense in this sacred hour, it is not about ritual alone, it is about stepping into a river that already flows with spiritual force. That is why those who learn to honor midnight are those who master their destiny. Incense has been with humanity for thousands of years, not as decoration, not as something casual, but as a bridge between the visible and the invisible. To the eyes it is just smoke, to the nose it is just fragrance, but to the spirit it is a language. When the stick is lit and the flame gives birth to that steady stream of rising smoke, you are not just burning a substance, you are releasing intention, prayer, and energy into the atmosphere. The incense becomes a carrier, a vessel that takes what is within you and lifts it into a higher space, where unseen forces must respond. The elements themselves tell a story. The fire represents transformation, because it is fire that changes a solid form into smoke that cannot be contained. Fire is the power to consume what is heavy and release what is light. The air represents movement, because it is in the flow of the smoke that your intention travels, not stagnant, but rising, spreading, filling corners that darkness tries to hide in. The fragrance represents purity, because every aroma shifts the atmosphere, and certain scents carry with them vibrations that disturb negative energy and attract blessings. This is why incense is never just a pleasant smell. It is a spiritual tool designed to break barriers that words alone cannot break. When you take incense in your hand at midnight, understand that you are holding more than wood, herbs, or resin. You are holding a key. With it, you are declaring that what was stuck must move, what was hidden must be revealed, and what was polluted must be cleansed. The smoke becomes a visible sign of an invisible reality. Just as the fragrance fills the room, so too does clarity fill the mind, peace enter the heart, and light reclaim territory that was touched by shadows. Too many people underestimate the power of such simple tools. They believe that if something is not complicated, if it does not require rituals that are long and exhausting, it cannot work. But wisdom has always been hidden in simplicity. It is the humble things that carry the most power, because they remind us that it is not the tool itself, but the energy, the focus, and the faith that flow through it that make it alive. The incense is not powerful because of what it is, but because of what it represents. It represents fire in your spirit, breath in your lungs, and purity in your soul. So when you light it, do not light it carelessly. Do not watch the smoke drift as though it is only decoration. Light it with awareness, breathe deeply, and speak your intention with courage. Let the smoke rise not as something ordinary, but as your declaration that no curse, no chain, no poverty, no darkness has the final word. Witchcraft has always thrived in secrecy. It feeds on fear, on hidden whispers, on energies that move in the dark, hoping never to be noticed. Those who practice it know that its strength lies in deception, in convincing a soul that it is weaker than the chains that surround it. But here is the truth. Darkness has no power in itself. It only borrows from the light it tries to cover. It survives only when the one being attacked forgets who they are, forgets the strength that already lives within them. That is why the first act of breaking witchcraft is awareness. To see it, to name it, to understand that it does not hold ultimate authority over your life. When incense is burned, it does more than fill a room with fragrance. It unsettles these energies. Witchcraft and curses are heavy by nature. They attach themselves to spaces, to minds, to emotions. They linger like invisible dust, hoping to go unnoticed. But incense disturbs that atmosphere. Its rising smoke shifts the vibration of the room, weakening the grip of negative energies. The fragrance disrupts the heaviness, announcing to every shadow that this is no longer their dwelling. It is not superstition, it is alignment. As the smoke rises, what was hidden is drawn out, what was oppressive becomes exposed, and what was binding loses its strength. You may have felt it before, the sudden tension in a room, the draining presence around certain people, the unexplainable heaviness that tries to cling to your body. These are not just moods, they are evidence of energies that do not belong to you. And the mistake too many people make is accepting them, living under their weight as though this is normal. But the moment you choose to confront them, the moment you light incense with intention, you are telling those forces that their disguise is broken, their hold is finished. Witchcraft cannot survive in the presence of purity. Just as darkness cannot remain when a candle is lit, curses cannot remain when true energy of cleansing is released. Understand these spells are not stronger than your spirit. They are built on illusion, repetition, and fear. But once you stand with authority, once you cleanse your space and focus your intention, you shatter the illusion. You take back what was stolen, you silence what was whispered against you, and you replace it with clarity and strength. The incense becomes a declaration that your body is not a vessel of fear, your mind is not a playground for torment, and your destiny is not a chain in the hands of another. So, do not approach witchcraft with trembling. Approach it with fire in your eyes and strength in your breath. The smoke rises, the atmosphere shifts, and the shadows scatter because they were never built to withstand your light. Poverty is often misunderstood. Many think it is only about the lack of money, about empty pockets or an empty table. But poverty is deeper than that. It is a condition of the spirit, a weight that presses on the mind and convinces a person that they are trapped, that abundance will forever remain out of reach. It is not only physical limitation. It is mental chains and spiritual blockages that repeat themselves across generations. Families live under the same cycles not because they lack effort, but because something unseen holds them back, as though every step forward is met with a force that pushes them 2 steps back. That is not coincidence. It is energy, it is bondage, it is a curse that must be broken. When incense is burned at midnight, it does not only cleanse a space from witchcraft and curses, it also begins to transform the energy of lack into an energy of abundance. Think about what happens in that moment. The air shifts, the atmosphere becomes lighter, the fragrance fills the room. What once felt stagnant suddenly begins to move. Poverty thrives in stagnation, in blocked flow, in the belief that nothing can change. But incense speaks of movement, of transformation, of release. Its smoke rises upward, refusing to remain low or still, teaching the spirit that limitation is not permanent, that there is always a way for energy to ascend, always a path to rise higher. Many times, the reason people cannot escape poverty is because their minds have been conditioned to expect it. They wake up thinking of lack, they go to sleep fearing loss, and their energy creates more of the same reality. But when you choose to shift the atmosphere with sacred incense, you are not just filling a room with scent. You are retraining your mind, reprogramming your spirit to expect something different. You are declaring that your environment is no longer aligned with lack, but with flow, with prosperity, with freedom. In that midnight moment, while the world sleeps, You are planting seeds in the unseen. The smoke becomes your prayer rising for breakthrough. Your focus becomes the magnet that draws opportunities. Your faith becomes the anchor that breaks the cycle of defeat. You begin to feel lighter not because money suddenly falls from the sky, but because the energy of restriction that has been blocking you starts to dissolve. And when the blockage is gone, flow begins. Ideas come, doors open, people are sent into your life, and abundance starts to reveal itself in ways you could not have imagined. This is why it is said that curses and poverty are often intertwined, because when darkness cannot destroy your body, it tries to limit your life by making you believe you will never have enough. But the truth is, enough already lives within you. And when incense is burned with intention, it awakens that truth, it removes the veil of limitation, and it invites prosperity to return. The incense itself carries power, but without the alignment of your mind and spirit, it remains only fragrance. Real transformation begins when intention is poured into the act. Too many people burn incense as if it were just a routine, letting the smoke drift without ever focusing their heart or directing their thoughts. But the truth is, incense is only a tool. The force that moves through it is your own energy. It is the breath you release, the images you hold in your mind, the conviction with which you speak that determines whether the smoke becomes ordinary or sacred. When you stand at midnight and light that incense, your focus must be clear. Take a deep breath, not rushed, not shallow, but steady and controlled. Feel the air move through you, because breath itself is life. As you exhale, imagine everything heavy within you. Fear, doubt, curses, poverty, leaving your body and dissolving into the smoke. This is not imagination for its own sake. It is the way the mind communicates with the unseen. Whatever you choose to see in your inner world, the outer world will eventually mirror. Your intention must not be vague. If you seek freedom, declare it. If you seek abundance, visualize it until you can almost touch it. If you seek protection, command it with the authority of someone who knows they are already shielded. The incense becomes the bridge, but it is your focus that decides what crosses that bridge. This is why some light incense and feel nothing, while others light it and walk away transformed. The difference is not the stick, the resin, or the herb. The difference is whether the spirit behind the act was passive or alive with intention. In those 3 minutes, silence is your ally. Let your mind be still, let your words be few but powerful. Speak not out of desperation but out of certainty. The moment you waver, you weaken the energy you are releasing. But the moment you stand firm, believing that what you declare is already yours, the unseen aligns with your faith. That is the hidden secret. Faith and focus are the true fire behind the incense. The smoke rises, but it is your conviction that carries it upward. And if distractions come, do not resist them with frustration. Simply return your mind to your breath. Return your focus to your vision. Every breath in is strength entering. Every breath out is heaviness leaving. This rhythm turns a simple act into a spiritual weapon, a force that no curse, no witchcraft, no poverty can withstand. So remember, incense is the instrument, but you are the musician. The song it sings depends on how you choose to play it. 3 minutes may sound small, almost insignificant. To some, it feels impossible that such a short span of time could carry the weight of transformation. But what most do not realize is that power is never measured by length. It is measured by depth. A single moment of absolute focus can shift what years of scattered effort could not. The midnight incense ritual is not about duration. It is about intensity, alignment, and the purity of presence. Think of lightning. It does not need hours to strike. In one flash it splits the sky, it shakes the ground, it changes the atmosphere instantly. In the same way, 3 minutes of alignment between your body, your breath, your intention, and your faith creates an energy that pierces through layers of darkness that have been built up over time. When incense is lit at this hour, the smoke begins to rise immediately, and within that rising is an invitation. You are given a short but powerful window to command release, to declare freedom, and to invite blessings with full authority. Do not underestimate the value of these 3 minutes. Most people spend hours in worry, carrying chains in their mind all day, replaying fears in endless cycles. Yet 3 minutes of intentional focus can undo what endless hours of fear have created. It is not about how long you perform the act, but how present you are in that moment. When the incense is burning, every second carries weight. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every thought becomes energy, shaping your reality. This is why consistency is important. One night of effort can open the door, but returning again and again teaches your spirit discipline. The more often you align yourself in those 3 minutes, the more natural it becomes to walk in freedom even outside of them. Over time, the incense will no longer be a ritual you turn to only in moments of desperation, but a reminder of the authority you always carry. Each night you rise, each time you light, you strengthen the muscles of your spirit, and the chains that once felt heavy will no longer even recognize you, because you will have risen above their reach. The beauty of this practice is that transformation does not wait until the incense finishes burning. You will feel it in the first breath, in the first wave of smoke that touches the air. Some shifts are subtle, like a heaviness lifting from your chest. Others are immediate, like clarity flooding your mind or peace settling over your heart. But always remember, the true change is not in the smoke itself. It is in the energy released through your focus. And that energy does not need a lifetime to work. It only needs your full presence in these 3 sacred minutes.